What if I told you that right now, 1 in 25 people watching this video can taste colors, see sounds, and experience a reality so different from yours that it's like living in a completely different dimension? This is synesthesia, and for the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna show you a hidden world that will blow your mind. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Billie Eilish sees her songs as purple, why Pharrell Williams literally cannot make music without seeing colors, and, here's the crazy part, I'm going to show you how scientists are now training people to develop synesthesia. Let's dive in. Okay, so what exactly is synesthesia? Imagine you're looking at the word Monday. You see black letters on a screen, right? But if you have grapheme color synesthesia, the most common type, you see something completely different. Every single letter automatically, involuntarily, triggers a specific color in your mind. And get this, it's not random. The letter A might always be red for you, every single time, for your entire life. But that's just one type. Scientists have identified over 80 different forms of synesthesia. Some people taste words, literally. The name Derek might taste like earwax. The word jail might taste like cold, hard bacon. I'm not making this up. Others see time in physical space, like a 3D calendar floating around them. Some feel touch when they watch someone else being touched. And here's what's mind-blowing. For every single person with synesthesia, their entire reality has always been this way. They thought everyone experienced the world like this. Now let me blow your mind with some celebrity examples. Billie Eilish, one of the biggest artists in the world, has multiple forms of synesthesia, and when you understand this, her entire artistic vision suddenly makes perfect sense. She describes her hit song Bad Guy as yellow and red. The number 7, warm like an oven, and smelling like cookies. She's not being poetic or artsy, she actually experiences music this way. Every color in her music videos, every visual choice, is because that's the color her brain creates for that specific sound. Pharrell Williams is so affected by his synesthesia that his band NERD literally named their album Seeing Sounds. He told NPR, and I quote, "When you hear sound, you see color. I know when something is in key because it either matches the same color or it doesn't." Think about that. One of the most successful music producers of all time uses color to identify musical pitch. He sees 7 basic colors corresponding to the 7 musical notes. For him, making music without seeing colors would be like you trying to cook with your eyes closed. And it's not just them. Kanye West, Lady Gaga, Stevie Wonder, Billy Joel, Hans Zimmer, Lorde, Alessia Cara. Researchers estimate that synesthesia is significantly more common among professional musicians and artists than in the general population. This isn't a coincidence. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. For decades, scientists thought synesthesia was just people with overactive imaginations or learned associations. They were wrong, dead wrong. A groundbreaking 2024 study published in Frontiers in Human Neuroscience used advanced brain imaging called DTI tractography to map the neural pathways in synesthetes' brains. What they found was shocking. Synesthetes have actual structural differences in their brain wiring. Specifically, they found increased connectivity in white matter pathways, the brain's information highways, connecting areas that process different senses. It's like their brain has extra bridges between the color processing center and the letter processing center. These bridges are firing automatically, creating these merged experiences. This is called the cross-activation theory. In most people, when you see the letter A, only your letter recognition area activates. But, in a synesthete, that activation jumps to the neighboring color area, so they literally, neurologically cannot help but see A as red. But here's the wildest part, and this is backed by the neonatal synesthesia hypothesis. Researchers believe all babies are born with these hyperconnected brains. Infants' brains are massively interconnected, with way more neural pathways than adults. As we grow, our brains undergo a process called synaptic pruning, where unused connections get deleted to make the brain more efficient. But synesthetes, their brains keep some of these infant connections. They retain pathways that the rest of us lost, and it's genetic. Studies have identified specific chromosomal regions linked to synesthesia, and it clearly runs in families. If you have synesthesia, there's a good chance your siblings or parents do too. Now hold on to your seat, because what I'm about to tell you sounds like science fiction, but it's 100% real. In 2014, researchers at the University of Sussex published a study in Scientific Reports that shook the neuroscience world. They took normal, non-synesthetic adults and put them through an intense training program. For weeks, participants did memory and reading tasks designed to reinforce specific letter color associations. They trained them to always see A as red, B as blue, and so on. And after just a few weeks of training, something incredible happened. The participants started reporting that they were seeing colors when they looked at black letters, even outside the lab, in their normal lives. They had developed genuine synesthetic experiences. But here's the kicker. They didn't just imagine it. When researchers tested them using standard synesthesia tests, like the Stroop effect, they showed the exact same behavioral and physiological markers as people born with synesthesia. Their brains had actually rewired themselves. This proves something profound about human brains. We are far more plastic, far more moldable than we thought. The connections that create synesthesia can be built through experience. Your adult brain can create brand new sensory experiences. And just this year, in 2024, researchers discovered that synesthetes have higher levels of something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This is literally a marker of neuroplasticity. Their brains are more primed to create and maintain new connections. This might explain why synesthesia is stable for life. These hyperconnections are being actively reinforced by higher BDNF. So you might be thinking, okay, seeing colors for letters is cool, but is it actually useful? Oh, it's useful. Synesthetes consistently show cognitive advantages in multiple areas. First, memory. Studies show that grapheme color synesthetes have significantly better memory for sequences, numbers, and words. Why? Because they have built-in visual codes for everything. They're not trying to remember the number 2479. They're remembering blue, green, purple, yellow. It's like having a photographic memory system you never had to learn. Second, creativity. Research shows synesthetes score higher on measures of creative thinking. They literally experience the world with more dimensions than non-synesthetes. When you can see sound, taste colors, and experience time spatially, you have more material to work with creatively. This is why synesthesia is so common among artists and musicians. It's not that having synesthesia makes you an artist, it's that synesthesia gives you a richer sensory palette to create from. You're painting with 7 senses instead of 5. Third, pattern recognition. Synesthetes often excel at spotting patterns and connections because their brains are literally wired to connect things. They see relationships between concepts that others might miss because they have these automatic sensory links. Now, I gotta be honest, synesthesia isn't always a superpower. Some synesthetes report sensory overload in busy environments. Imagine trying to focus in a noisy room when every sound is creating a color explosion in your vision. Others experience cognitive interference. If the word blue appears in red ink but your brain insists blue should be orange, it creates mental conflict. Some lexical gustatory synesthetes avoid certain names because they taste disgusting to them. But here's the thing. Most synesthetes wouldn't give it up. Research shows that the vast majority view their synesthesia positively. It's part of their identity, part of how they experience beauty in the world. So, why does any of this matter? Because synesthesia tells us something profound about consciousness itself. Philosophers call this the hard problem of consciousness. How do physical brain processes create subjective experience? How does neural firing become the redness of red, or the sound of middle C? Synesthesia proves that our subjective experience is not a direct readout of objective reality. It's constructed by our brains. Two people can look at the exact same stimulus, the letter A, and have completely different experiences. One sees black, one sees red. Both are real. Neither is more correct. This means there are potentially billions of different subjective realities being experienced by different brains. Your reality is just one possibility. And if training can create new forms of experience, the potential for human consciousness expansion might be unlimited. So here's my challenge. Drop a comment right now. When you see the letter A, does it have a color? Does music create shapes in your mind? You might be one of the 4% and never knew it. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you found value in this video, please consider subscribing for more content like this. Hit the like button if this was helpful, and share it with someone who might benefit from it. Have questions or suggestions for future videos? Drop them in the comments below. See you in the next one.